Hello, am I audible? Hello? Hello, please put someone confirm it.
Yes,
Audible.
yes, audible. Yes, audible.
We'll wait for another minute. No, we'll start. I think it's almost, or should we wait for another minute? And okay, we'll wait for one more minute and we'll start the session. Okay. Hello all, welcome to the session. My name is Adheena and today we are going to continue with the topic business ethics. In last session, we have discussed about ethics, introduction to business ethics, and some of the importance and challenges of business ethics. Then we have then we have looked into the aspects of ethical reasoning, ethical relativism. Then we have discussed some of the theories of ethics like utilitarian theory, deontological theory, virtue ethics, etc. In today's session, we are going to discuss about organizational ethics, some of the key aspects of organizational ethics, the various challenges an organization has to face while they implement ethical behavior in the organization. And then we'll look into the importance, the steps in implementing organizational ethics, and then we will be discussing about corporate social responsibility and its advantages and challenges. Then we'll discuss about ethical leadership. Finally, we'll discuss about corporate governance. And then if we have time, we'll see some of the terms which are used in ethical, in business ethics, some of the major terms which are commonly used. All right. So now let's begin with organizational ethics. Organizational ethics, as the name suggests, is nothing but the implementation of ethical aspects into the context of an organization. So it refers to the moral principles and values. So ethics means the moral guidelines or principles and values, and it's organizational ethics means the application of these moral values and guidelines into the behavior, decision, and action of an organization or within an organization. So simply we can say organizational ethics is the application of ethical standards in the context of organization. So in the context of organization, there will be organizational practices, corporate governance, then decision making done by the management, then the relationship between stakeholders, etc. So organizational ethics means the application of ethical standards in the context of organizational practices, corporate governance, management decisions, and relationship with stakeholders. Stakeholders means any person who have a stake in the business we operate. So it can be the employees, the customers, the suppliers, investors, anyone who have a stake. Basically, any person who have a stake in the business is stakeholder. So, and why organizational ethics? Organizational ethics ensures the organization or the business operates in a socially responsible manner, in a transparent manner. So, transparent manner in the sense means the decisions undertaken or any new implementation in the business is properly communicated. So, organizational ethics ensures that the business is socially responsible, transparent, and operates in in ethical manner. So, coming up, organizational ethics means the application of ethical standards in the context of business, like business activity, corporate governance, management decisions, relationship with stakeholders for ensuring transparency, social responsibility, and ethical behavior in the organization. Now, let's discuss some of the key areas of organizational ethics. The first key area is ethical leadership. As we know, any organization needs a proper leadership to function properly. So, likewise, for an organization to stay ethical, to uphold or to adhere to the ethical guidelines, it requires a strong ethical leadership, because leaders sets example or they set the tone of the organization. That means how the organization should function. If the leaders adhere to the ethical standards, the employees or the workers will follow. So they set the example for the workers or the employees in the organization. So ethical leadership is a key area of organizational ethics. Second key area is CSR. CSR is corporate social responsibility. So corporate social responsibility, simply the responsibility of an organization or the obligation of an organization towards the environment or towards the society in which the organization is functioning. So, adherence to corporate social responsibility or non-adherence to corporate social responsibility is an important factor or important aspect of organizational ethics. For an organization who adheres to the corporate social responsibilities or who uphold the responsibilities are ethical bound. So, corporate social responsibility is another area of organizational ethics. Next area is business integrity and accountability. So, organizations who conduct their business in an ethical manner or adheres to the code of conduct of ethics have business integrity. Such organizations tend to have captured the interest of the customer, so they will have the belief or trust of the employees. These organizations always adheres their activities with honesty. They uphold their promises. They ensure that the commitments are met on time, and they are accountable as well. Ethical organizations always take accountability or responsibility for any action and their implications to the society. So, the next key aspect is fair treatment of employees. Adhering to ethical code of conduct within the organizations ensures that the employees enjoys fair treatment. They enjoy a working environment which is exploitation free, which is harassment free. They would be able to work in a stress free environment. So organizational ethics ensures fair treatment of employees. Also, it also ensures that the conflict of interest is minimized or eliminated. all organizations work towards a common goal, or they work towards having profit along with by adhering to the adhering to the code of conducts followed in the organization. So ethical behavior or ethical code of conduct ensures that the conflict between the various stakeholders in the business is minimized. This ensures that, for example, if the employees are tend to work towards achieving their incentive or salary, and they adhere to any practices so as to increase their sale and earn their incentive, and if the organization has set policies to be ethical to ensure that the product is of particular standard or particular quality and this particular, maybe they have set a particular code of conduct, and if the employees have a varied interest and their interest is being, there will be a split or competitive interest and happens between the employer and the employee, then it will cause the demise of the organization. So ethical code of conducts or organization who adheres to the ethical standards ensures that the conflict of interest is minimized or eliminated. Next is whistleblower protection. So as we know, whistleblower means any person or the agent who, uh, you know, when an unethical or activity has been undergone in an organization, they report it to the public or they whistleblow it to the public and put that into the highlight of the society and to ensure the unethical practice has been stopped. So an ethical organization ensures that whistleblower or the employees have a safe environment to report the unethical issues. They are not without the fear of getting any, without the fear of having any harsh treatment or any, to have to suffer any undesirable implications. And compliance and legal ethics. Organizational ethical organizations or ethical code of conduct also ensures that the organizations or the business adheres to the laws and regulations or the various guidelines set by the governing body. So it ensures that the legal ethic or compliance are being adhered. And the final key area is environment and sustainable practices. Ethical organizations ensures that their business is operated in an ethical, in a sustainable manner. They look towards a bigger picture. They work for the sustainability of the environment. They towards reducing the damage. They work towards lessening or reducing the damage they will have to cause to the environment. So these are the main key areas or key aspects of ethical organization or organizational ethics. First aspect is ethical leadership. Second is CSR. Third aspect, business integrity and accountability. Fourth is ethical organizations ensures fair treatment of employees. Ethical organizations work towards reducing or eliminating the conflict of interest. It ensures whistleblower protection. Then compliance and legal ethics. Then the final aspect is environment and sustainable practices. Now let's see some of the challenges the organization may face while they trying to be ethical or adhering to the ethical policies. So organizations may have pressure to compromise the ethical standards. For example, if two companies are being in cutthroat competition in a market, and the company A is a multinational company having ample fund, and company B is a small scale business, and in order to survive the competition, company B may face some challenges, or they face this pressure to pressure to relax their ethical standards. So for example, in this scenario, if the company B has to survive in the market, they have to reduce the price so that the competitor do not engulf them. So in such situation, in order to reduce the price, they will have sometimes they face this challenge to meet the standards or meet the quality of the product. In that case, they have this challenge to, so they face the challenge to ensure that the ethical standards are being upheld. I hope this point is clear. So there are situations where the organization faces pressure to compromise their ethical standards. And another challenge is global and cultural differences. In case of multinational companies where they operate in different landmarks or different continents, different countries, and they have employees with various, cultural background, multilingual, multicultural employees, and in such cases, moral standards or ethical code of conduct which is acceptable in one country may not be a moral or may not be as per the moral standards of another country. So the companies have the challenge to navigate these differences by inculcating all these aspects. So that is another challenge. The third challenge is balancing profit with ethical responsibility. As we say in the earlier case, in cases of small businesses, they always face this pressure to balance balance their profit with the requirement to adhere to the ethical responsibility. So organization, they may be depending on the debt capital or debt finance for their business, and they'll have this challenge whether they have to they'll have to focus more on the ethical aspect, or should they have to forward for achieving their financial gain. So that is the challenge. Moral disengagement. Moral disengagement means when the stakeholders, maybe the employees and employees, they have very competing interests, and they disengage themselves from the much bigger interest of the organization.
എന്താ പറയാ ഈ സാധനങ്ങളൊക്കെ കൊണ്ടുപോകുന്ന സ്ക്രീൻ ഉണ്ടല്ലോ അങ്ങനത്തെ ഒന്നാണ് അത് വലിയ വേഗത്തിലൊന്നും
Please put some mute. Yeah, all right. Thank you. Now the fifth challenge is data privacy and security. As we all know, we are living in the digital era where AI is all around us. So the protection of the data is the major resource in this era, and protection of data privacy is a major challenge for organization. For example, or a small scale organization which doesn't have the resource or which doesn't have the finance to keep up the data privacy, they face they have this challenge of storing, sharing, and um, collecting the data in an ethical manner. They have to they face challenge, they face financial challenging, or they face resource challenge, lack of resources in adhering to the data privacy of the customers. So we have seen what is ethical organization, the key areas, and some of the challenges in challenges the organization faces in upholding ethical standards. Now let's see the process of implementing organizational ethics. So the first step is code of ethics. That means the organization has to set up a code of conduct. They have to create a formal code of ethics. They have to make a framework by which the organization needs to, or the organization is going to act. So once code of ethics or code of conduct is set, then the organization has to train the employees. They have to educate the employees. The decisions regarding the framework of ethics or the ethical code of conduct need to be communicated thoroughly to the employees, and they need to be educated in ways how to deal with the certain dilemmas they face while conducting the business. So they have to be educated on the correct course of action they have to undertake in various ethical dilemmas, like maybe in case of corruption, in case of harassment, how is the reporting standards adhered in the organization, what are the key steps the employees has to take in case where someone is offering them bribery or things like that. So once the code of conduct is set, code of ethics or framework has been set, it has to be communicated and the employees need to be trained accordingly. And once this is done, the organization has to set up a committee. It is called the ethics committee. They have to monitor whether the organization's code of conduct has been adhered religiously, whether it's been practiced. So officers has been appointed and a legal body or a committee has been formed. Then The fourth stage is transparency and reporting. Organizations or leaders or ethical organizations ensures that there's an environment for the employees to have free communication, that be able to communicate any ethical challenge they face, so that they have transparency in the system. The final stage is stakeholder engagement. Once the framework has been set, it has been communicated and training has been given, and a committee for overseeing or monitoring the activities has been set, then the environment is ready for the employees to act accordingly, and the organization has to engage their employees, and engage their stakeholders in align with the ethical practices. So these are the 5 steps. First step is code of ethics, creating a formal code of ethics, then training the employees, then setting up of ethical committee. First step is ensuring transparency and reporting, environment has to be set in such a way that it supports transparency and enables reporting. Then fifth step is stakeholder engagement. I hope this is clear. Okay, now let's see what is corporate social responsibility. So as we all know, corporate social responsibility means the responsibility an organization has towards the society or environment where it operates. So corporate social responsibility is the business model. So it's a business model where the companies integrate their social, economic, and ethical concerns. So corporate social responsibility is the business model where the companies or the organizations, they integrate their social, economic, and ethical concerns along with the business they conduct. So along with the operations and interactions. That means their businesses. So CSR is done not for profits, beyond profit. So an organization, any business is run for attaining profit. So inculcating CSR activity within the organization is not for profit, but beyond profit. That is, they focus on the why it is being implemented means they look forward for a positive impact they could create in the environment they operate. So corporate social responsibility is the business model which integrates the social, economic, and ethical concerns of the organization along with its other business activity, so as to create a positive impact in the society or environment where it operates. Now, corporate philanthropy. So corporate philanthropy, it's when we consider corporate philanthropy is part of CSR. CSR is the bigger picture and corporate philanthropy is part of CSR. So CSR, corporate social responsibility, doesn't always include money matters, or it's not financial aids. It includes the services the organization offers to the environment where it functions. Our philanthropy is limited to the financial support the organization provides to the society in which it operates. So the major differences is corporate social responsibility is a broader term. It includes the services and financial help both, whereas philanthropy includes only the financial aspect or financial support. So CSR is a broader concept encompassing the ethical business practices, environmental responsibility, and stakeholder engagement. So CSR integrates both the business practices along with the environmental responsibility, and thus stakeholder engagement is made part of it. So it includes giving back to the society in terms of money as well as service. It is a proactive approach, whereas philanthropy is a reactive approach, and it is a narrow view where financial support is given to the society where it operates. For example, if a company adopts a village and trains and equips the people in the village, or train them with skills so that they would be able to start their own businesses. It's an example of corporate social responsibility. However, in case of calamity, when a business, donate a huge lump sum of money to a village, that means philanthropy. So philanthropy is mainly financial support or donations or scholarships, whereas corporate social responsibility integrates the ethical business practices, environmental responsibility, and stakeholder engagement. Now, let's see the major benefits of CSR to an organization. So organizations who adopts or uphold their CSR activities have the benefit of brand loyalty and reputation, good reputation. All organizations work towards, acquiring profit. However, organization that includes corporate responsibility activities. Also, they includes this, social serving activities along with their business life. They have a good customer, image. They have a good reputation, and it also ensures that the customer will be loyal to the brand. See, in case of common people, they always go for brands which have a good ethical image. They, in a way, they think that okay, by buying from these companies, we are also contributing to the society. So they have a good brand image, brand loyalty from the customer, and reputation. Second benefit is attraction and retaining talents. Upholding to the ethical standards and upholding the CSR activities ensures the brand to have or the organization to have to have a charisma, and that charisma ensures that the employees are attracted or they retain within the organization. No, for example, in case of Google, Microsoft, they provide good working environment. Along with that, they provide, voluntary programs, internship programs to the, free internship programs. Then they create a good working environment. They have flexible workstations within them. So these aspects are part of CSR, which attracts and retain their talent. And in a way, it helps them to avoid reduces their cost of recruitment as well. Okay, so the third benefit is operational efficiency and cost saving. Organizations adhering to sustainable practices or organizations which, in case of Unilever, they're good. They are famous for their ethical sourcing and energy efficiency activities, and such organizations have operational efficiency and cost saving in the long run. And another benefit is investor interest. In all investors or investors which when they research for investing their money into a business, they always go for organizations which have a good reputation, so as to reduce the risk of reputational damage. So investor organizations adopting or upholding CSR activities could always attract more investors or attract, they'll be in the top list for the investors to make investments. There are other benefits as well, but we have looked into the 4 major benefits. Reputation and brand loyalty aspect. It increases the brand loyalty of the customers. It gives an integrity to the organization and have a good brand image. And second benefit is attracting and retaining employees. CSR or customer social responsibility activities ensures an organization have operational efficiency and cost savings in long run. Then the fourth benefit is investor interest. That is, their investors are, these companies will be in the high list for the investors. Next, we will see the challenges of CSR. Give me a second. Let me have a few drop of water. So let's see the challenges of CSR. Any organization who has to uphold or adheres to the ethical standards face challenges. Doesn't mean that it is a smooth path for the organization to adhere or implement ethical activities within the organization. They face challenges, and still organization they they uphold the CSR activities. So some of the challenges the organization face include cost and resource allocation. In case of small organization where they have limited resources, where maybe they are operating in debt finance or they are operating with limited fund, they find it difficult to allocate the resources and costs. And they have the challenge whether they have to focus more on their profit-making aspect or their operational aspect, or they have to focus more on their ethical aspect. So it's a challenge. Whether they have to adhere, whether they face the difficulty of adhering to the CSR activities. Then the second challenge is measuring impacts. So the impact or the end result of a CSR activity done in the present time may be recouped years after. So the results are also intangible. It may not be reflected much into the profit margin. So these CSR activities ensures that the results are there, they create a positive result to the environment, but to the organization, it is intangible. So measuring the impact is difficult for the organization. It is very difficult for the organization to, understand on the financial year, maybe in 5 years or in 10 years, it may be difficult for the organization to measure the impact of the CSR activity they have done. However, a positive impact is guaranteed. However, the measurement or the result from that CSR activity in the present time may not be that easy. Third CSR challenge for CSR or holding the CSR activity is balancing competing interests. So organization have the various stakeholders having various interests for their, they have various interests. So the interest of the investor is to earn profit, whereas the interest of the employee is to get more salary and incentive. The interest of the customer is to get a product which is efficient enough, but with less price. So competing interest is very difficult for the organization to navigate and inculcate all the interests together, along with upholding the CSR activity. Then greenwashing and ethical credibility. Greenwashing means representing or misrepresenting an organization or a product as ethical, or telling it as eco-friendly when it is not. So CSR activities, some organization, they use their CSR activities to counter their unethical practices. So CSR could be a tool. The organization could use CSR as a tool to counter their unethical practices. So the four major challenges we have discussed is first is the difficulty in allocating cost and resources along with conducting CSR activity. Second challenge is measuring the impact of the CSR activity undertaken in the present time. Third challenge is balancing the competing interests within the stakeholders. In the fourth challenge, CSR could be used as a tool to greenwash or curtail the unethical practices. Now, we are going to look deep into the ethical leadership and organizational culture. Before that, let's relook into what we have discussed till now. We have started the session with organizational ethics. So it is the implementation of ethical standards within the context of an organization. Then we have discussed the key areas of organizational ethics, that is ethical leadership, corporate social responsibility, business integrity, fair treatment. It ensures fair treatment of employees, then reduces conflict of interest, protection of whistleblower, then compliance and legal ethics, ensuring that environmental sustainable practices are being upheld. Then we have discussed some of the challenges in ensuring the organization adheres to the ethical standards. We have also seen the implementation processes. The first point is code of ethics. Then after setting the framework, proper training and education need to be given. Then after that, we have to set a committee to ensure that the ethical codes are being followed. Then in ensuring an environment which promises transparency and reporting activities, and finally, stakeholder engagement. And we have seen into the concept of corporate social responsibility, its differences, the difference between corporate social responsibility and philanthropy. Then the benefits of CSR, that is reputation and brand loyalty, attracting and retaining talents, operational efficiency and cost savings. The fourth point is investor interest, creating investor interest. Challenges of CSR includes cost and resource allocation, difficulty in cost and resource allocation, measuring impacts, balancing competing interests. Then it could be used as a tool for greenwashing. I hope this much is clear to you. So now let's continue with the topic of ethical leadership. Any organization or any business, in order for the business to operate successfully in an environment, the leadership is a very important factor. So leaders are the crucial factors that set the tone of the organization. As we have said in the key aspects of organizational ethics, ethical leadership is an important factor. So an organization to work or to succeed in a competing environment, their leaders need to be strong. They have a charisma. So, or if for the success of an ethical aspect or success of upholding the ethical code of conduct in an organization also depends upon the leadership of the organization. Why? Because they set the tone of the organization. They are the person who are involved in decision making, and they are the person who molds the behavior of the employees. The employees follow the footprints of the employer or the leader. So they are the key factors who are responsible for taking a decision. So leadership is very important factor, crucial factor in setting the tone of the organization. So let's see the key functions why the leadership is important. So, or the key functions the leaders has to adhere to, or the leaders has to perform in order to ensure that the organization is working in an ethical manner, or major aspects of ethical leadership. Okay. First key function of a leader is to set an example. So, as we have said, the leader set the tone of the organization. They are the one who shows the model to the employees to follow. So, ethical leadership requires a strong leader to set an example. Second point is establishing values. So, in order for the organization to sustain ethically or behave ethically, it's not enough for the organization to undertake just the, or it's not enough to framework the ethical code of conduct. It also ensures they have the responsibility to ensure that the values are being established. That means it is being properly communicated to the lower level employees or from the leader to the employees, and ensures that it is being reinforced in the organization. They have to check whether it's being followed and have to monitor whether it's being performed religiously in the organization. So the next key function is encouraging open dialogue. Organization, it is the duty or the responsibility or the function or major duty of the leader to ensure that the organization have an environment which is open to communication. If it is safe for the employees to report to the management, whether they will be able to communicate properly. The line of communication need to be clear. Then leaders should ensure accountability. So any action undertaken in an organization is the responsibility of the leader. So the leader is accountable for the actions undertaken in the organization. So another key function of the leader is being accountable or being able to take the responsibility. And the last point is decision making. As we know, the management or the leader is the person who is responsible to take the decision as well as implement that decision. So, as well as any, he's the person accountable for the results of the decision. So, it is the duty of the or the main key function of the leader in an organization to implement decisions or to take decisions and implement decisions which are in line with the ethical practices or ethical code of conduct in the organization. So we discussed 5 points in the key functions of leadership in organizational ethics. The first function is the leaders has to play the has to set an example or should be an example to the employees or should play the role of a role model to the employees. Second function is establishing values. Leaders are responsible to ensure that the ethical framework or code of conduct undertaken in the organization has been enforced and reinforced or implemented or reinforced in the organization. It is the responsibility of the leader to have a proper line of communication or ensures that the environment within the organization is free for open communication or open reporting. Then ensuring accountability. Leaders are the persons who need to take accountable for any actions undertaken or any ethical conduct happen in the organization. Then they are responsible to take decisions that are in line with the ethical values and align with the interest of the stakeholders. Now, we'll see the examples last, okay? This includes some of the examples of ethical leadership. We'll see this last. Let's discuss the major topic of corporate governance. So corporate governance align with the framework of legal aspect, or it aligns with the rules and regulation or guidelines, the proper set of rules and guidelines. So corporate governance refers to the system by which companies are directed and controlled. So it is a system that means the rules and regulations or guidelines or legal guidelines. Okay. So corporate governance is the system by which the organization or a company is directed and controlled. Corporate governance is an important topic. Please listen carefully. Corporate governance, it is the system by which an organization or a company is directed and controlled. So corporate governance involves 3 aspects. The structure of the organization, it covers the structure, the process and relationship aspect of the organization. Structure means the structure in case of the line structure or metric structure, the formal structure of the organization, whether it's a formal organization or the team is informal, whether it follows a metric structure, whether it follows a line structure, etc. So corporate governance involved with the structure aspect, the process aspect. Process aspect means various processes involved in the organization, like the process of decision making, maybe the process of recruitment, then the process of manufacturing or the supply chain management. The corporate governance is involved in the process aspect, then in the relationship aspect, maybe the relationship between the line of control, the line of communication, the kind of leadership implemented in the organization, etc. So corporate governance is a system by which an organization is directed and controlled. It involves the structure, the process and relationship aspect of an organization. And why? Now let's see why it is important. it ensures that an organization is transparent, accountable, and responsible. So in a sum up, we can say corporate governance involves with the structure, process, and relationship aspect of an organization so as to ensure a transparent, accountable, and responsible, organization. To provide a transparent, accountable, and responsible working environment in an organization. Now, let's discuss the key principles of corporate governance. As we have seen in the earlier session, that corporate governance ensures accountability within the organization. So, corporate governance means a governing body. That is the rules and regulations or the governing body. Simply, we can say that maybe it involves the board of directors, the policies and procedures, followed in the organization, the ethical standards, everything come corporate under the aspect of corporate governance. So, corporate governance in an organization ensures that the organization is accountable. That means the board of directors and executives are accountable to the stakeholders or shareholders, and shareholders are accountable to the actions undertaken to the public for any action undertaken in the organization. So corporate governance ensures accountability. It ensures transparency. Transparency means the communication is open. There will be clear, there will be clarity. There will be open communication for any action undertaken in the organization. So also corporate governance or by rules and regulations implemented in the organization ensures that accurate, timely, and relevant information is passed to the stakeholders or shareholders so as to avoid any conflict of interest. The third principle is responsibility. The board of directors or the shareholders are responsible for any actions undertaken in the organization. They are responsible for the long-term sustainability, ethical behavior, the code of conduct of the employees, the products they are producing. So by the guidelines or by setting up rules and regulations or by setting up the policies, it ensures that the organization is responsible or the board of directors are responsible for the actions undertaken in the organization. Next is fairness. With the setting up of rules and regulations or with the setting up of clear guidelines on how employees need to be treated, it ensures that the employees get that fair treatment. They are being respected. The work environment is fair. They don't have, there is an exploitation free or harassment free environment to the employees. And all stakeholders, including the shareholders, including the customers, everybody, every stakeholder's interest is being upheld in the decision-making process. And finally, independence. That is the board of directors. Board of directors are the supreme, governing body of an organization. So the board of directors should have a particular number of independent members. So by with that regulation or by corporate governance ensures that the company is not run in a biased manner. It should be run in an unbiased manner, and the decisions will be taken in an unbiased manner. Just ensure with the presence of independent members of the board. So the 5 key principles of corporate governance include: it makes the organization accountable for its actions. It ensures the organization is transparent to the stakeholders' interest. It is responsible for any actions undertaken in the organization. It ensures fairness of treatment. It ensures independence of decisions. The decisions won't be biased based on the based on the interest of certain stakeholders. There will be independent members, and the decisions undertaken will be unbiased. So corporate governance is a system by which an organization is directed or controlled. Simply means the rules or the guidelines, the policies and procedures set in the organization. So it is the governing body or the the law by which an organization runs. That is the simple meaning of corporate governance. The rules or regulations or the law by which an organization runs. So it involves a structure, process, and relationship within the organization. And it is corporate governance ensures that the organization is transparent, accountable, and responsible. The 5 key principles includes accountability, transparency, responsibility, fairness, and independence. So this is a case study for you to go through. This this explains around scandal case. I think we have discussed this in the earlier session. I have given a brief overview about the scandal. This is a example for unethical practice. And this is a case study. I hope you will go through this one when you have time. I'll give a short idea about this one. So the around scandal, this one is an unethical practice happened back in USA where the top executive provides a fraudulent report. They misrepresent their financial report and they provide, they misrepresent their debt and their profit margin. And, and what happens is the investors, without knowing the full details or without knowing the actual scenario, they invest into the business. They invest a large amount of money thinking that the organization or that company is in profit. However, actually the company was in debt only. So what happens is finally when they find out, the investors faces a lot of they lost millions of dollars in this scandal, and finally the organization has to shut down. So when you go through the case study, I urge you to search about this one and understand the various ethical issues happened within the scenario, and what was the impact, or what are the major resolutions happened, or what the impacts happened due to this scandal. What was the contribution of the scandal towards the society? What was the impact, not contribution, but what impact it has made into the society? So you'll have a task. It's a case study about around scandal. Now let's see some of the terminologies in ethics. So when we discuss about the various aspects in ethical organization or various, when we discuss about the ethical business ethics and other importance, we have used certain terms which is common in the ethical aspects, and I have not explained them in detail. So here we are going to discuss about some of the terminologies in ethics, which is commonly found when we, when we see an ethical matter, when we hear about the scandals. These common terminologies, maybe you're familiar with this one, but let's have a look. The first is whistleblowing. As we have said earlier, whistleblowing is the act of reporting an unethical practice. So this is like not reporting to the management, but reporting, or they whistleblow it to the public. The employees or the insider people, and they try to point out to the management that maybe the management was also unethical in certain situations, and they don't have a measure to stop unethical practices. So as a final resort, they whistleblow as these things, unethical practices into the society. Whistleblowing means act of reporting the unethical practices. So maybe the whistleblower's identity may be shielded at times. So sometimes they come up, their identity is revealed as well in certain cases. I hope you all remember Stone, the one who leaked the, he's familiar, he is famous for the WikiLeaks. So he's a whistleblower. What happens is he leaked the unethical, federal details in the US. next term we are going to look into is greenwashing. So greenwashing refers to the practice where the company falsely or they represent their product or their activity as an ethical practice, but however, in reality, this is not an ethical practice also. They'll highlight or maybe they will highlight some of their CSR activities, or they highlight their product as eco-friendly. Sometimes they highlight their product as cruelty-free. However, in reality, it is not that case. So that is this misrepresenting their product as an eco-friendly product. That is called greenwashing. Then red tapeism. Red tapeism is mostly associated with government related, scenarios or bureaucratic aspect where, there is an unnecessary delay due to the complexities of the process. And in turn, because of this delay, there will be a lot of finance or loss in case of funds. There is frustration, inefficiencies, mainly, the delays in moving of the reports. Usually, in earlier scenarios, in offices, there will be files which will be tapped, which will be taped with red color tape, and from that context only this word has been emerged. So red tapeism means unnecessarily delay in the process due to the complexities in the bureaucratic procedures. The fourth term is insider trading. Insider trading is mostly associated with stocks, share market, stocks, etc., where the person within the structure leaks information to certain people so that they could make money out of that information before the information come public. So maybe in the trading house knows that the value of a particular share is going to be, going to increase in near future, and it is not being into the public knowledge. So they'll provide this information to certain persons of their interest, and helps them to buy that particular stock and earn profit, which is an unethical practice because it's the information is the right of every people, and but through insider trading, what they do is they use this particular or secret information to earn profit. The next term in this aspect is corporate espionage. Corporate espionage is nothing but spying the competitors. Maybe in scenarios where two firms are competing in a market for a particular product and they spy their market. So they spy their competitor to gain certain information that could cause harm to their competitor, or it could cause harm to their business. So that is corporate espionage. That means the act of spying the competitor. Cronyism. Cronyism means favoritism shown to a friend or associate in political or business scenario. Similar. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Please could someone confirm whether I am audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. I'm sorry, there was an internet crashed and something happened in between. I'm sorry for the inconvenience caused to you. We'll complete the session immediately. So it's similar to nepotism. However, nepotism means it's when the person have family lineage to associate. However, here it's so cronism doesn't have to be strictly based on any lineage or based on any family support. It's just the favoritism shown to a business associate or a friend for despite the merit. It's not based on the merit or fairness of treatment. However, a particular party or a person is being given leverage over the other person. Then kickbacks. It's similar to bribery. It means hello, Ginu. I think maybe because of the time was up, I'm not sure why the call is getting disconnected. I'm sorry for that again. So we'll see this quickly. Okay. Kickback is similar to bribery, where a person or it's a practice of offering. It's a practice, certain sum of money for doing a particular illegal activity. Then sleaze. Sleaze means it is conducting a morally questionable behavior or activity. Money laundering, as we all know, means whitewashing or converting the black money accumulated through illegal practices to an accountable. Next term is obfuscation. That means an act of deliberately making something unclear or confusing. So the last few terms. Now so sweatshop. Sweatshop is a factory or a factory or workplace where there is exploitation of workers happens. So price gouging means the practice of increasing the price of goods or services in the time of a crisis or a shortage. Then black marketing. Black marketing also illegal practice of selling goods at a price which is much above the original price. Now, the last two terms we are going to, there is only two more terms. Phishing. Phishing means it's a cyber crime where, people send mails and other links to get sensitive information. Hoarding means, unethical practice of, stockpiling commodity to create a shortage in the market. So that's what about today's class. I'll be sharing this PPT to your student coordinator, and she'll be sharing it with you. I've given the details of all the topics we have discussed. For any slides which have just the points in the slide, there will be a detailed discussion within the note section.